Good evening, viewers, and very welcome to our Christmas webcast, which by now is safe to say has become a tradition. This is the webcast where we take a look at what's happened in the past year, but also look ahead at what the next year holds for us. We are going to have us a little competition tonight. That is going to start in a few minutes after my retrospect, which will be the first item of the evening. So I will get back to you with the details on the competition in a few minutes. Also to give all the viewers a chance to join us in case some of you might be late. So let's start with taking a look at what's happened during the past year. And that, of course, starts with the release of Capture 2021. Capture 2021 came with a number of new features, including the new polygon editor, which makes it possible to draw, well, new shapes that were not possible to draw in Capture before. In this example here, you can see a T-shaped stage being drawn, and an extrusion being added to that as well, so that we get a stage height in this case. But of course you can use it to draw other shapes as well, like scenery or walls or anything you need really. Another new feature that many users had requested for quite some time was mirroring. Now we wanted to do a proper mirroring, not just a two-dimensional graphical mirroring that flips, well, the vector graphics. No, we wanted to do a proper mirroring that also rotates the corners properly and maintains fixture focus positions and things like this. So we were quite proud to be able to introduce that in Capture 2021. We also introduced MVR support, both to import and export MVR files from Capture. The two primary reasons for this was to support exporting designs from Vectorworks into Capture, and the second reason was to export patch and scenery from Capture into MA3. MVR makes both of those two scenarios possible and quite easy. And we've already had great feedback from users using both the MVR import and the MVR export. Something else that we introduced in Capture 2021 was a redesigned plot editor. We took the familiar concept of the design tab and the library tab and brought that into a new plot editor, making it easier to find how to add insets into the plot. And we also revised a lot of the properties of the insets in order to make sure that you had more control over the look and feel of the graphical elements, with things like border widths, colors, and text alignment in the text insets. Furthermore, in the plotting department, we added the new ruler and the line objects that make it easier to orient and assess distances in paperwork, a standard feature in plotting. We also redesigned the report editor, where we took a new approach to the design of reports. Previously, the reports were completely predefined with a few configuration options. With Capture 2021, you can pretty much build any report from scratch. Obviously, we still have some templates in there, but they are now fully customizable in pretty much any way you would like. In the graphics department, we added things like the vortex effect for the Claypaky BI, as well as a host of other perhaps more minor visual enhancements, but that in general made the visualization look better We also introduced for the first time special effects, well, apart from water fountains. So we introduced flame jets and CO2 jets. They had been faked by some of you before to various degrees of success, but now they are part of Capture and much easier to use. Finally, I would also mention a host of material property improvements in 2021. Some of the things showcased in this picture were alpha channel and transparency handling, both for images and video content. Better metal and roughness handling, very useful for materials like rusty metals. We introduced emissivity textures that lets you map parts of the surface that emit lighting. We introduced a back projection property that lets you see light through a surface without necessarily seeing anything else behind that surface, which is typically what happens in a back projection situation. And finally, the fluorescence property of the material, which to date, I think we're still the only visualizer of any sort that has even attempted to visualize fluorescence properly. But of course, looking back at the year that passed, not everything has been about our software release. We have also done other things. One of them was our contribution to the Eurovision Song Contest in terms of, well, Capture, of course, but also to some extent our expertise in terms of optimizing the project file and providing some advice on how best to use Capture. The show was amazing, and it was great to be part of a big show that actually happened this year, since there weren't that many of them. Now, one thing that many of you perhaps have not noticed yet is that we also redesigned our web shop. So if you have purchased a new license this year or an upgrade, you will already have seen it, but it's a lot clearer to work with. And one of the main features is that when you're logged onto the website, the web shop shows you your licenses and how you could upgrade the licenses you have, which makes the upgrade process a lot easier than it used to be. Now, the past year, the Capture 2021 upgrade was free, so many of you have maybe not used this yet, but we are not doing the same next year again. So for 2022, you may get an opportunity to experience our new improved web shop. Finally, I would also mention a couple of new resellers that we managed to add during the past year. The first one being InLight Show Technique in Russia. Strictly speaking, this was the end of 2020, but it's still after the last Christmas special, so we're going to count it. We also signed up with Lighting Bits in Brazil, improving our presence in Latin America. So, a lot of things have happened during the year, and we are much looking forward to the next year. But before we start talking about the future, it's time to launch the contest that we're running tonight. What you need to do is guess how many candies there are in this glass vase. And if you manage to do that, you can win a Capture Solo Edition or an upgrade from a Solo to a Duet Edition. The rules are simple. You only get one guess. Should you post more than one guess, then only the first one counts, so you can't correct guesses or such. The first person to either guess correctly or come closest to the correct answer will be the winner. Your guesses are to be placed in the chat window down below, and the competition opens right now. So best of luck, everyone. guessing how many candies there are in this glass vase. The competition will be open for, I think, around 15 minutes, and I will close it later during the webcast and also announce who the lucky winner is. So, best of luck everyone, and proceed with the guessing. Next up, I'm going to hand the word over to myself at a different location and time for an important message. However, we do apologize for the audio in this clip. It turned out that the transmitter of the microphone was in fact breaking apart during the shooting, which meant we couldn't reshoot it with better audio, and we were just lucky to get a new one for tonight's webcast, in fact. So, here goes myself a few days ago. Take it away, myself.
The sea, or Kattegatt in this case, which is the sea between the west coast of Sweden and Gothenburg, where we are today, and a few hours due west, Denmark, or the northernmost part of Denmark, and the village of Skagen, which is famous not only for its the watches and the jewelry from the Skagen brand lately, but also from the painters who sought it some 150 to 100 years ago for the special lighting that you would find due to the fact that it's surrounded by the open seas. Special blue lighting that makes it appear like the sky and the sea merges together, especially in the evening, and then it was known as the Blue Hour. So everyone has his own relation to the sea. Some have never seen it, some swim in it, some, like me, are a little bit more skeptic. It's cold, salty, and makes me seasick, but everyone has their own perspective. Unlike some years ago, like in the 1960s, where this instructional video in Sweden taught sailors how to dispose of their trash in the sea by putting it in a box, filling it with stones and sinking it to the bottom. Today we've learned that the sea is not the place for our trash. So when we learned about the Team Seas initiative, we felt that this was something we wanted to support, and we hope to encourage some more people to support it and spread the word. Team Seas was started by famous YouTubers Mark Rober and Mr. Beast, and the mission is to raise $30 million in order to remove 30 million pounds of trash, mostly plastic, from the seas, rivers and beaches. So that's nearly 14 million kilos of trash. This is done both manually and mechanically by the Ocean Conservancy and the Ocean Cleanup organizations. And yeah, so those are the ones carrying out the actual work of removing the trash. So if, like us, you feel that this is a cause worthy of your contribution and enthusiasm, then we encourage you to visit teamseas.org and learn more about it and possibly also support it. We have a hashtag capture there that you are more than welcome to use if you want, but of course that's not the important point here. The important point is to make the world a better place for us and to clean up the trash we've put in it already.
I hope that you find the work that Team Seas or the organizations they hired important. And I would encourage you to visit teamseas.org. Last I checked this morning, they had already gathered $17.6 million, which is great news and very promising for the future. Speaking about the future, I think it's time for the first teaser of Capture 2020 for tonight. And so let's switch over to my little video clip here. So this is the first official teaser, in fact, of 2022. So teaser season is open. And the first one we are giving away is that we are adding custom symbols to Capture 2022. By symbols in this case, we are talking about plot symbols for fixtures as well as standalone plot symbols, that is simply symbols added to the plot, but symbols here are not 3D, they are 2D. So let's take a look at how this works. We've added a new category in the Design tab called Symbols, where you can import an SVG file. Then you can drag and drop the imported symbol onto a fixture, as in this example, and of course also adjust a few things like the scale and the vertical offset. This means that if you're not happy with any of the symbols for the fixtures in the library, it's now possible to import your own. The requirement is that it's a vector-based file, because SVG files actually support raster graphics as well. And the solid areas, they will be filled with the plot solid or plot fill color, and the lines in the shape will be following the layer line color, obviously, and also the layer line thickness. So we think in all its simplicity that many of you are really going to enjoy this feature and the abilities this opens up to in terms of plot customization. So let's get back to the studio if we haven't that already. And now I am going to hand the word over to my colleague Vangelis from Athens, who has an important message to you about several things. So Vangelis, take it away.
Hello Capsule fans. Hey Lars. We're almost ready to say goodbye to 2021. What a year. Although globally the course of the event industry was unpredictable due to the pandemic situation, we can recall several beautiful moments of this year. First of all, new partners in different places of the world. New people, beautiful people. We had the opportunity to meet new markets and adapt to the needs of different cultures. We organized 2 competitions with our resellers in Ibero-America and Brazil, and more are coming up soon in other regions. But who could be able to overtake our unforgettable experience that was our participation in the Eurovision Song Contest? Thanks to Lightheart, the lighting design team of the Eurovision, and Tamco Flashlight, the technical supplier, 2 professionals of the kind, we lived the contest from the beginning to the end. During that period, we learned every detail of the venue, and we had a crystal clear image of the end result, days before it went on air. So after all these experiences, we decided to launch our competition. Clearly smaller than the Eurovision, and less funny than counting Lars's cookies from his favorite jar, but still very interesting. Rules of engagement are simple. Post a capture render of your favorite project from your Facebook account. Tag capture visualization to the post. Promote it as good as you can to reach more likes. Once you reach 300 likes, then you know you want a free upgrade to Capture 2022. Tomorrow, we will post detailed instructions and terms to our site and our social media pages. That is all from me. And Lars, I have a question for you. Can you count the length of that cable? Καληνύχτα.
Thanks for that, Vangelis, and pay close attention, everyone, to the publication on our website tomorrow with more details about the competition. And also don't forget to submit your guesses for the number of candies in my vase here if you want to win that license. Now, yes, Vangelis, I can count that cable for you. It looked like exactly 1 cable. But I take the cue because this leads us on to the next teaser this evening, which is about cabling. So many of you have asked us to improve the ways that you could add cabling information to the plots. And in Capture 2022, we are doing something about this. We have added to the library a new cable object, which you can drag into the design. It starts out very much like the new line object, but it has a few party tricks up its sleeve. One of them is that you can split the cable, which means adding multiple points to it so that you can do a multi-point cable run in 2D as well as in 3D, of course. So while you can see the length of the cable run, you can also add some more detail, like the type of cable you're using, as in a power run in this case. You can also specify some extra for the cable if you need some slack or extra cable for whatever other reason. And of course, you can also label the start and the end points of the cable. Now, the distance of the cable shown is rounded up to the nearest number specified by you, in fact. In this case, it's whole meters. And the purpose here is not to let you specify actual individual cables as much as cable runs. So in this case, we need a 16-meter cable run here of power cable. Now, how you would then break that down into individual cables is not something we've tackled at this point. However, we've also tied this into the reports by adding a new cabling report, which counts the cable runs. So it might say I have 3 16-meter runs, 10 10-meter runs, and so on. Of course, broken down by cable type as well. So this opens up a host of possibilities in terms of cabling documentation, both in reports and in plots. And we quite look forward to your feedback on this once we get Capture 2022 out. Now it's back to the studio again for another clip. We are soon going to see a little montage of pictures from Instagram where you have posted images of Capture or Capture in use and tagged us. This is great. We enjoy watching these pictures throughout the year to see how you use Capture. And it seems like Instagram is the choice for most people for posting such pictures. So the moment this starts running in a few seconds, the competition has come to an end. So if you still haven't guessed the number of candies, then you have a few seconds to do so, as we are now going to roll our little Instagram montage. Thank you everyone who has who has posted these images throughout the year. It's been great to follow them throughout the year, and we hope that you enjoyed seeing them as well. I think if you want, you can go on our account on Instagram and see these images and who has tagged us if there's something you want to see more of. So it's been reported to me that we have found the winner of our little competition tonight of candy number guessing. And the lucky winner that wins a solo edition or an upgrade to a duet managed to get very close to the correct answer. There are in fact 72 candies in the vase, and the best guess came in from Henry Zoom, who guessed 73. So it's in fact just off by one candy. I must assume, Henry, that you have great candy expertise. I can only commend you for this. Please, Henry, mail us at support@capture.se so that we get hold of you, so we can give you your little Christmas present for the good guessing of candies. With that, I would like to thank you all for joining us tonight and taking part of our Christmas special. We look much forward to 2022, which hopefully will be a better year in many ways. And we look forward also to sharing a few more teasers with you on social media about things to come in Capture 2022. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and see you soon again.